What's going on, guys? Smurphhjr Disc Golf here. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas, Happy New Year in 2024. Gonna get it quick in the bag in here. It's obviously not my big clunky Bazooka cart, which I carry way too many discs in to begin with. But for my in the bag for 2024, I wanted to somewhat condense myself to what I can hold in my low trooper here. And I got 21 discs in here. Let's go slow to fast. Start with our putters. And starting off with putting putters is the ultimate, I want to say like mold that's up in the air right now. Right now, I'm kind of in between working on the Pure and the Glow AVR. Yeah, the Glow AVRs, which has an absolutely sick Halloween stamp there. Then we go to my backhand approach slash straight driver, which is the new Watts that came out this year. Absolutely amazing. I love that. And then again, learning from YouTube and starting to create a community of my own. But again, we learn from each other. Like, that is the absolute best thing and my favorite thing about this whole disc golf community as a whole. We learn from each other, we support each other, we help each other in everything that we can. And one way that Nate, another amazing content creator, pointed me towards was the Color Glow A2. Now, I found this at used bin. I don't know why they got rid of it. This thing is money for forehand approaches. I've flicked in a few putts in tournaments with this already. It's absolute money of a forehand approach disc. And again, a relatively new release into the bag is the Lasso, which is mint discs, new driving putts. For me, a bit more overstable of an Envy, or almost an A3 in my eyes, but the hand feel for backhand blows both of them out of the water. Just absolute money. All right, so that takes care of most of the putt and approach. Now, the next in-between slot that Prodigy has created is the MX, which I have the MX1 with the Apple Blossom local stamp here. The MX1, I really started watching Gannon Burr bomb with it, but that's not what I use it for. Really, for me, it's a backhand, just get out of jail free card, a bit like a Zona West, but something you can actually rip on and get a bit of a bigger flex on it. The MX1, let's start with the mids. I have, let's see, yeah, 3 other mids. We got Way Over Stable Beef, and then again a new one is the Isaac Robinson Archive. He's 5502. I'm sure I'm wrong. Y'all correct me in the comments. New World Champ Absolute 6 stamp. So the 500 plastic. Archive. I've just started throwing it, but it's still just for me right now, just that reliably overstable driving mid-range. And then again, like I ain't scared to say it, like I'm trying to become a little bit of an influencer myself, trying to help the sport grow. But again, we're all influenced. And the second I saw Nate Turner bust one of these bad boys out, I know I had to give it a shot and get one. I mean, that is just gorgeous. So an MD1 Horizon from Discmania. So that's my straight, slightly overstable mid, and then good old faithful flippy Fission Hex. It started out fairly straight, but these Fissions, I'm starting to learn that when you throw them consistently, they really beat in to the best highs or flip or flat turn mid ranges. I'm really starting to love this hex. All right, let's go to fairways. 7 through, I'll call it 7 through 8 speed, or 6 through 8 speed, because you know what's coming up next. Gyro nut. Got the Proton, no, just regular plasma Crave. I have a couple other Craves, a Fission and a Neutron. They get a bit flippier and move around a lot more. If you hammer on this straight, it's not going anywhere. It's just piercing dead straight, and I love it for that. Nice thin, just from about 250 in approach, just dead straight, on the money all the time. And our next two are my primary forehand discs, which if you've seen anything of mine, you know the forehand is not there yet, but these are both 161 lightweight MVPs or Axioms. You got one, my stable Wrath, which your boy died, still learning how to. Got a Wrath for stable forehands, and one of my other new favorite molds, the Rhythm, from more understable, more distance shot when I'm not throwing into a wind or anything like that. Got two forehands, and then again, call me a gyro nut, I know it, but the Drift, which I'd say the numbers are a little deceiving here. We can go 7.5, -1, 2. For me, like the Drift, the Lift, those -1, 2s, the 7 and 9 speeds from Streamline, and it might be all of them, but those are the only two that I've really thrown and kind of gotten to see the flight out of. I don't know if you can see this rim, their rims and their whole discs are board flat. This might be the best wind disc as far as just not being affected. You can throw it flat if you can get it there, and it just goes straight. Now it has a bit of finish and a bit of turn if you really hammer on it, but for the most part, this thing just goes straight, or whatever line you put it on. So Drift, straight 7 speed, and then this is an Eternal jackalope that I'm starting to beat in. I first started working on a Apex jackalope that got pretty flippy pretty quick, which I still love, but it's getting to a point of almost being unusable for what I want it for right now, and I wanted to beat in this more durable jackalope. But Mint's another one that I'm really starting to get into, a couple of them, but gotta give the biggest shout out to the In the Bag podcast with Robbie and All Business Brad, right on the money. I love it. You were the main one I heard, just absolutely loving this disc. Highs are flipped, just straight, just amazing control driver. And now we get into the 9 speeds and beyond, or the big boys. The first one is a disc that is, or a mold that's really gone through the ringer for me, because back when I first started looking into MVP and getting a couple discs, I started throwing the inertia and just could not figure it out to save my life. Now, granted, that was probably at least a year ago when I was still figuring out how to actually throw and could not throw consistently at all. But I just could not figure out this disc to save my life. But I'm really thankful I didn't throw it away or just get rid of it, because these things can absolutely bomb in a tailwind. For me, this is my main roller, and I can fairly consistently get a straight roll out of this for about 380. Granted, I don't hit any trees, but this is absolutely amazing roller disc. And then my Thunderbird-esque that I really just want to shout out and support, former Arkansan, KJ, USA. We got feedback here in 500, I believe. Yeah, new 500 one, absolute beefcake. But I've got to go left a good bit of distance. And my new favorite, essentially Zone OS of a driver. But shout out to Paul Uleberry. Keep making Captain's drivers, because these are absolutely amazing. If you would like to send me a new, what is that, Z-Flex of the Z-Flex Strawbreaker. Yeah, those look absolutely money. These skip like nobody's business. I am no means saying I throw this for distance at all, but figuring out what you can use it for, which is for me skip shots, or when I've absolutely got to go left, or the biggest chop forehand in the world, sometimes it calls for it. That's cap wrap for you. And then one I'm starting to work on beating in when we get into distance is Double G's Tour Series Wraith. Still not my quote distance mold quite yet. I'm not beating in the champ one. That's kind of getting there, but more distance, but I've still got to go left for the Wraith. And then I almost call this cheat code a little bit for me, because it's a lab second 153 gram wave. And again, used bin, absolute gold mine find. The absolutely big air shots if there's no wind, but also very tight hyzer flips where I gotta push as far as I absolutely can. Again, none of these really forehand, except the cap wrap. Yeah, besides the first two forehands, I really don't forehand anything else. And again, another one where I was pointing in the right direction, and I'm starting to figure out that these wild honeys just absolutely bomb. I'm still working on the strength to actually hyzer flip them and get a full flight out of it. But with Clash and their steady plastic, I was playing up in the cold. I mean, just literally freezing temperatures up in Missouri a week ago, and everything else feels like ice at that point when it's that cold. Till I pick up some steady, and you still have grip. Even at that temperature, you still have grip. You still have firm grip on your disc. You can throw it, absolutely love. It's wild honey. I actually just found it in blue. But again, yes, this is another one that I was pointed, getting back on track. But Foundation's own new Finish Line content team member, I think I got that right, Trevor Staub, he bombs with these things. And now I'm starting to figure out why, because these are absolute money. It's a 12.5 -2.2, a little bit faster wave for me. I'm still trying to kind of beat it in and figure out where I want to use it, but it's absolute money. Thank you, Trevor. I can't wait to get my hands on the new double steady stuff, but for now, steady is absolute money. And to finish out the absolute most hype about disc that I have been a part of, again, me only really being in the disc golf know for the past year, even though being casual for the past 4 or 5, by far the most hype I've seen about a disc is the time lapse. Now, again, amateurs, all that stuff, you always say, stay away from big stuff. This is definitely utility for me right now. There is no way in Kingdom Come that this is any kind of distance shot for me. The most I can get out of this is about 280. But again, with the right utility and either fighting headwind or I've got to skip left, and again, these skip really well as well. They really knock the ground. But again, you've got to have a TO in the bag. Like, there's just, in this purple, and oh my God, that's just gorgeous. Like, sometimes you just gotta have pretty discs. Like, hate me, get at me in the comments, but sometimes you just throw it because it's pretty. And because you want to support your favorite athletes. And yeah. So that about wraps up our in the bag. Thank you so much for watching. We're still on the grind to try to get this community initiated, started, whatever you'd like to say about it. I know it gets tiring to hear, but I cannot do this without you. And again, it's a one-man show, which it is what it is. But if you guys can just hit that like button for me, subscribe, so we can get more content, better content for you guys. I know we're a bit late this week, me traveling, but thank you so much for your support. We will see you next time. Keep it Smurphtastic.